Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to another watercolor workshop with Jyotsna Umesh. I'm Lorraine Moffa, Programming Coordinator for Loudoun County Public Library, and your host today. Feel free to send me your comments and questions during the program by using the chat feature. I can then relay them to the artist. And now I'd like to welcome our artist, Jyotsna Umesh, winner of the Loudoun Book and Art Festival's Plein Art Contest. She uses watercolors in a loose, fluid style to make lovely paintings, often of faraway, beautiful places. All you really need today are a couple of paintbrushes, a few primary colors, some water, a paper towel, and a paper plate on which to mix your colors. So let's get started. Welcome, Jyotsna.
Thank you, Lorraine, and thank you, Loudoun County Public Library, for this opportunity. So today we are going to paint this piece, and I specifically chose this because it looks complicated, but if we look in terms of shapes, we can simplify it. So it's a good to practice if you get overwhelmed by some scene, but you really want to paint it. So we learn how to simplify it, and this is another one, which is quick one, which I did before the class, and I do every time to get hang of it. If you, this is a very small journal, and if you really want to get serious, just try something each day. Okay. All right. So before we begin, materials, it's on my website as well. And Lorraine, if you don't mind, put my email as well, please. jyotsnaumesh@yahoo.com. So one word. You can always share your work with me. I can give you critique. I can give you feedback if you're interested. That's how I grew. So by hobby, I'm a painter, and by profession, I'm in IT field. Let's start um, slicing and dicing. So for me, two most important things are how to draw it in terms of shapes, and second is the value. So if you have attended classes with me or library events, you know what I mean by value, but I'll show you real quick because I'll be using this term many times. To start with, sketch. All some students, when they reach out to me and say I can't sketch, I ask them the first question: Can you draw rectangle? Can you draw triangle? Linear line? Can you do? And they, yeah, sure. So that's exactly what we are going to do. This is a rectangle piece, so I'm just going to get kind of this shape. And this is very rough, so take a rough paper, kind of printer paper, and keep handy 2 or 3 just to get hang of it for practice. I see a rectangle here, and to give it a 3D shape, if I darken which means sun is coming from this side is not getting light. So immediately we turned it into a 3D object. All right, so far I'm not looking at it as buildings. I'm looking at it as a triangle, rectangle. I'm coming down, another big rectangle, a little bit bigger. I'm coming to this piece. And this is my horizon. This is probably 30%. I'm leaving 70% on the top. This is my horizon. And I feel this will probably be my road. So right now it'll look pretty odd because I'm using my pen and I can't erase and I can't do, but I want to do dark so you can see how I'm attempting the subject. This piece left-hand side is all going to be very dark trees. And here there are 2 guys walking. I'll show you how to create people, figures, again, a very simple way. In watercolor, we never do eyes, ears, and hands, and everything. It's overwhelming. So these are the 2 people. I'm going to put it like this. Okay, just a blob for head. That's person is walking. with a minimum. So if I'll bring it closer, these are the 3 strokes probably I did. Okay, just an impression of these 2 guys here. Another person, maybe they're chatting, and we'll give them different colors of clothes. Okay, so that's we are going to put here. Next, I'm going to show you there are some cars here. Okay, let's say this is a road. Okay, again, keep 3 or 4 papers handy because we are going to do some practice for first 15 minutes for drawing. One small car, all I'm making is shapes, see, rectangle. And when I come to the last car, I really want to give it a shape of car. All in the back ones are just getting smaller and smaller because they are far, we can see. And when I paint, I'm just going to give an impression, maybe just a horizontal wash of one color. That's it for the windshield. And it'll give you an impression of cars, stack of cars, part. You find it hard, just make one car. Don't forget about that. The purpose of this is to enjoy, to learn, get your hand, dirty and play around. So I showed you this piece. I showed you this piece. Any questions so far? And please tell me if I'm going fast. But this is 1 hour, and I really want you to paint something like this in your interpretation. Lorraine, please let me know if you see any chat, any questions on drawing.
Can you focus the camera on the drawing paper while you're doing the drawing?
Yeah, camera,
A
you
little
can
bit
see.
more. That's very clear to me. I don't know
Okay.
if the person who's asking is maybe working from a phone and it's smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I want to keep it right next to it so you can equally see how I'm interpreting it. Okay.
Yeah, that looks good to me. And for all of those, we had a lot of people sign on in the last 2 minutes, so I'm sending you the link to the image if you'd like. Okay, the person said she couldn't see the car stuff before. Okay.
She couldn't. It's good now.
Looks good now. Mm-hmm.
All right. Another thing is composition. So let me touch this subject because it can break or make your painting. So composition means how are you arranging? How much is sky? How much is horizon? How much is bottom part? What is going on the top? It's just arrangement of pieces. Like when you play music, it's arrangement of pieces. That the whole, if together it falls, it'll be melodious. If it's falling, for instance, look here. If I have, this is my horizon, okay? I plan here something, this whole piece end up here, okay? This will be my road. This will be my tall. So composition wise, I have L-shaped. Something is coming from the top here. 30% is coming horizon. And here I have car stacked part. I still see it in terms of shape, so I'm saying stacked. These are part cars, these are objects, okay? So you see how I haven't done so far just plain line shapes, and it does tell you, okay, this is sky and this is road. Now these lines will be perspective lines. These are like just directional lines to show that it's converging. It's converging. You can't see anything far beyond. There is some interesting flag, right? Here are some trees, leaves going in. So what actually that is doing, it's connecting left-hand side to the right-hand side. So it's adding the composition beautiful. Same thing here. There are some trees. And here is a big car. That's my 10 minutes explanation. Any question before I start drawing with you on the good paper, on the watercolor paper? All right, I take that as
No
no.
questions yet, Jyotsna.
All right, great. Let's start sketching. And how I don't give too many details, I give kind of maybe say some idea when I start painting. I don't want to be too bogged down in too many details where my painting will become very rigid because I have everything planned and then I have to paint accordingly. So you can watch with me. I'll just darken a bit a little later once I have the right shapes in.
Jyotsna, when you have a chance, can you show how you draw the people again? And also maybe press down a little harder because we can't see
Yeah,
the pencil marks too much.
yeah. As soon as I have laid down the right pieces, I will darken it. So this is the people. You just something for the head, direction for the top, and legs. One is shorter, one is longer, showing that it's walking. If you want to give an impression that person is standing, make those both legs same height. Small things, but so it was very simple. Just going to darken, give me 2 minutes. I'm not drawing left side because there's nothing to draw actually. It's all impression of trees. So I know where I'll keep this line. Left hand side will be trees. Okay, I'm going to darken now. Usually I don't do, this is only for demonstration because otherwise it will show these all lines will show up after painting.
Jyotsna, someone's asking if you can just slow down just a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Jyotsna does work in a very fast, fluid style, and part of the point of this is that it doesn't have to be exact. You're just kind of trying to get the shapes down. But someone did ask if you would slow down a little bit, Jyotsna.
Yeah, drawing. Yeah, I mean, so whole the see, it's a 1 hour workshop, and if I was painting a simple, like let's say a tube, a realistic way, okay, I can do that in 1 hour. I have to achieve this. I have to give myself not more than 10 minutes on drawing, and so that I can actually show you 50 minutes. But you don't have to copy me. You just see how I'm doing and do you at your own pace because we never have to copy others. You are a unique person and you have your own style. So really just learn techniques and do how what you are best at. Again, if you see here, there are some shadows from left-hand side. I don't want to draw that. I will directly paint. So in drawing, because that painting, it's your mood where you want to put. I don't want to put a hard line in drawing. So far I've got this. And I haven't drawn the flag. That's again on the mood. I want to put it here or here. I don't want to do a hard edge. It's again how it flows. That a lot of it is your heart tells you what to do. Okay. So time-wise, Lorraine, are we 20 minutes past?
17 minutes past.
Close. Okay. So we have around 40 minutes. I am not drawing more than this. Tell me if you have any questions on drawing and if you're ready to paint with me. Okay. I changed my mind. I'm doing flag. All right. If you want to see, I can show you once more car and people. So it's handy for you. So I'm making very big. You have to smaller it because see here, if you make these people too big then compared to car, it will look obnoxiously big. So you have to see that the person cannot be, because car is right here. So if you stand next to a car, you're kind of a little bit taller, or car may be smaller, but you can't have this big. So I'm making bigger, but you have to smaller it, okay? This is head. I have tilted. That means this person is talking to this. So maybe these guys are talking.
Can you tell us what kind of pencils you're using for the sketching?
You can use any pencil. I have HB, 2B, 4B, any pencil. And this is the top. I haven't done much. And that's probably it. This guy is this side. If you notice, I don't do one straight line. What I'm doing is, so if I even have to draw a circle, I'll do multiple times rather than one perfect this way. So get into habit of this. That way when you sketch, it will just, the drawing will talk to you. It just, because there's never a single one line. So if you see here what I mean, when I'm drawing this, this is way better than if I had done one simple line. This shows realistic. Here I can color this and show as a three-dimensional sun is coming here, and this is not getting light, so this is darker. All right, so I'm ready to paint now. My colors, as Lorraine mentioned in the beginning, 3 colors are fine, primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. I'll probably be using ultramarine blue. If you have a cobalt or any other, you can use that. This is my Viridian green. Viridian green is here I'm plan to use. So you can take Viridian green, you can take ultramarine, and there's a lot of yellow warm colors on this side. So I have some orange. This is cadmium orange. And I have this yellow, which is yellow ochre. If you have any other yellow, you can take. I have some in my palette. Gumboj, you can take that. You can take Hansa Deep. I mean, I don't want to overwhelm you with the names. Every brand has different names. I'm using mostly Winsor & Newton professional colors. And there is some burnt sienna and burnt umber in my palette. And the cup, what I'm going to use today probably is these three brushes. These are all black velvet silver, inexpensive, very decent price. This is number probably 10, 2, and 0. I can probably complete this entire painting with this, but I really like to use um, flat brush a lot. This is 1/4 inches. And if I have a bigger paper, I probably use 1 inch. Just gives you a good, this is a good area where I might use this. Any questions? You can go actually, you can look on YouTube. I have a channel, I have a video there for supplies. You can actually look that as well. All right, so next 5 minutes we'll spend on planning. I hope you can see both top end. Okay, so in every good painting, you should have 3 values: light, middle, and dark. I'm sure if you've attended sessions with me, you know what I mean, but I'll just quickly show you what it means. Let's say, take this blue, ultramarine blue. Lots of water and touch of blue. You can probably not see. This is light. This is called a light value. Okay, so when I say light in this, I'm referring to this 90% or 80% water, 20% color. This is pretty light. Now let's go medium value. I have already here just more color. This is medium value. And now the darkest, I'm not going to take any water, directly color. If your painting has all 3, trust me, it's going to come out good. So compare now this, you have dark here, you have middle somewhere in between. This whole building is middle values. And then you have dark in the reflection in the shadow area here. Those are dark. Any questions before we start? So this I'm bringing it closer, take a look. 80 to 90% color, 50% color, 10 to 20% color. This is actually a very important principle. So practice it if you are a serious learner. We are actually going to be really bold and have fun with it. So take out your biggest brush if you have. I'm probably going with this little bit. And I'm leaving sky for now because for me, the important thing is here, the magic, the drama is happening here. And towards the end, if I plan like I'll do sky. For instance, I did not leave. See, sky doesn't look odd at all because there's so much beautiful drama happening here. Nobody cares sky is white or very light blue. If the painting is all about stormy sky and dramatic sky, of course we need to paint sky. So for now, I'm leaving it. I'm starting with this building. So take out yellow ochre
Just now,
and
before you start, can you tell us how you prevent the drips?
how I prevent the drips.
Hmm.
Yeah. So so again, if you have this kind of very light water, I mean, with the gravity, it's going to come down, okay? The hardest part in watercolor is to understand how much color, how much water. So the mixing of color becomes very important. If you have too much water, it's going to drip. If you want to control it, keep these papers handy, touch it, stop it, and you can control the drip. You can stop it, right? But if your purpose is to flow and have the entire road, then let it go. Don't let it drip. And I'll show you what I mean by let it drip. So I'll show you when I do the road. It's actually going to drip, and I won't bother because it's a beautiful way to let it happen, like it's happening on its own. So I don't disturb that. Okay. All right. So I'm taking yellow ochre and I'm taking middle value. Now you know what I mean, right? Middle value, 50% color, 50% water. And if you have yellow, if you have, just play around what building you want. You want yellow ochre, you want a little bit reddish. What color interests you? Take that and work with me. Okay, I'm going slow with you. Now I have to introduce another color, otherwise it will become a monotone. So I might take some blue and just touch it and leave it. Got too much, but that's fine. Now I'm going down. I'm using my side of the brush rather than on top. And if you can leave a little bit white, great. If not, we'll use white. I try to leave. Now this white is too big a white, so I might kill this, but I don't want to keep it a little darker. So just a touch of, that's it. Now, right now, it's a beautiful stage where any color you can touch it and it will mingle on its own. And leverage this time, work on this. So I'm taking a smaller brush right now, this one, 2 size, and I'm doing orangish color and leaving it little bit here, and I'm forgetting it. It's dripping on its own. If you see what I mean. It's dripping and I'm not controlling. It will slowly come down till end. How are we doing? Any questions so far?
No questions. I'm trying to stay as mute as possible, Jyotsna,
Okay, no
so
worries.
that the camera
Yeah,
doesn't go to me. It stays on
yeah,
your,
yeah, yeah.
sorry. I'll let you know if there's questions.
Okay. So if you see, I'm moving between this and, so these are warm, blue is cool. I'm moving from warm to cool colors and it adds interest, the drama. So now I'm taking some other blue because I don't want it. This is my cerulean blue. If you have it, use, otherwise you can use any blue. You can use cobalt blue, you can use any other blue. I'll show you a little bit wet on wet effect. I am wetting this area just with plain water. And I'm using burnt umber. Thick one, darker, and just touch it. And it'll come down on its own. I want to show you the road. And for road, we are going to mix ultramarine blue and a little bit of alizarin crimson. I have it on another palette, so I'm not going to waste. I have it here, both the colors. I have this ultramarine and this is crimson. So I'm just going to use that for the road. Okay, so you can watch me. I don't want to start, I want to keep the end of the road a little lighter so that it adds to depth. So I'm just wetting this area and starting, leaving some in the beginning. And see, it's dripping and I'm not going to control it. And I don't care if it's going over my cars. It's hard to save, and then it's an impediment. If you're trying to save every car, then you're really not in the right flow. I mean, I want to be totally free. And as I'm going down, I'm adding more value, which means thicker paint. So you understand now the value. So I'm happy with the road. Started with light, a little bit darker, more darker. And when you do a flow, leave it up to that. Don't, if you touch it again and again, it's trying to do something and then we hamper it. That's where overwork happens. So I'm trying to avoid that. So now I need to come back and do this piece. Hope you're doing fine and understanding the concepts. We talked about value study. We talked about uh, dividing this in terms of shapes. So far, these are the shapes building that we did. Going back again and completing. This is still a medium value. And right now you may see this as just, there's nothing. I just wanted to put some colors. And in the second phase, we will enhance it and put some windows, door, and it'll look like a building. All right, I'm ready to give some foliage now. I plan to use yellow here for foliage. This is again middle value. And side of the brush, introduce another color.
Jyotsna, someone said they're using Fabriano watercolor paper and it's shredding. Any tips for preventing that?
I'm using Fabriano too. So is it a cold press, hot press, depending on what you're using? And if you're using too much water. Is it buckling up?
She said it's shredding. Sherry, do you want me to unmute you so you can explain better?
Shredding, you mean?
Yeah. Sherry, you're unmuted if you want to ask Jyotsna.
Oh,
Hi, Sherry. You have a question?
yes. How do you prevent the paper from shredding? It has all these little bumps in it.
Is it a cold press or hot press?
This paper is hot press.
Hot press, yes. That's probably, hot press is very hard to manage. I have some actually paintings done, and it is good for floral and some soft work. But for this, I prefer cold press. There's nothing much you can do. Just probably it's doing because of too much water.
Okay.
And this is the first layer, and we're using more water. That's probably it. Okay, it'll get better when we use second layer. So just hang in there. Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah, not much of a help, but hot press is hard to manage. But again, the plus side is colors are very vibrant. It looks so good. So for experience, mature, I still at some point plan to use that. All right, so this is some foliage. It's already wet. If you're a slow painter, and it's totally okay, you feel that it gets dried and you want, before you put another color, it's giving you patch, you can use this small water bottle, and it's just keep it wet. And now you can add another color. You see here 3 or 4 colors, so I might use some blue here.
How do you desaturate a color?
Desaturate.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard. I don't know. Saturate, desaturate. I mean, I use the colors. These professional watercolors have one pigment. They don't have many pigments, so it doesn't makes it muddy. So I don't think about really whether I'm saturating, desaturate. I just, what I pay attention is I go warm to cold, cool to warm, and I don't mix too many on palette. Let it mix on paper. You see here what's happening. This effect, if you plan, it's hard to, this is what you're talking about, dripping, right? So I need to, and you can't control, I mean, there's water, it's going to get down. So this effect, you see here, it's hard to manage it on your own. This is when it let it happen. I did not touch it. If I stopped it, it would show me as an overwork. So you sometimes, a lot of questions, a lot of students ask, how do you make your fresh paintings? How does it not look muddy? So that's probably, don't, when it's happening, merging, stay away from it and watch it. I'm saying it, it's not easy. I myself, I stop it and do something. So now I'm going, it's still light, middle, and it's lacking. It's kind of begging for dark. So I'm going to add very dark. I have some, what is that color? I have some black neutral tint I'm using and ultramarine. And I'm going to probably use some of it. And what I do is I splatter as well. And it's a beautiful way to add interest area. All right, so I'm kind of done with this side. I want to develop this side. Time-wise, I think I'm pretty sure we are halfway there. So this is the end of the road. So I want to do some bushes towards the end. And now I'm really taking the big brush. This is very interesting, so watch it carefully. I'm taking lots of water and very light. You can take any warm color. When I say warm, meaning it could be burnt sienna, it could be yellow ochre, it could be, you see how it's watery? So I'm going to cover this hole with this, and then at the same time, I will have a very thick greenish wash ready, and that will give you the dark side of it. And the dark and light will have a drama effect. So let's get ready. And today, if it's okay, if you're not able to do exactly, this is not a very simple one. If you're able to do it, it's really great. If not, try it later. I just covered that. I'm taking Viridian green, burnt umber. I have to make dark. And I'm now going on the dry side of the paper. And I'm going to go a thick paint without water. And I want to give this effect, which is called a broken edge side of it. These will be my leaves later on. It's still light. I need to go way dark. I hope you're following. These are so many concepts in one class. Starting to give a shape, and then what you can do is, it's very interesting. Just take some water with your fingers and drop it. Misty effect. It starts to talk each other. It's now left side, right side, they're talking. It's not very clean, but I like this kind of impression. Now I'm taking the very small brush and I want to connect these. Because these are hanging otherwise in the air, right? How are we doing? Any comments so far you're able to do? Is it hard? just play around and listen to your heart. And I'm taking fresh orange here. And now what did I do by putting this orange? Orange was on the right side. I'm having harmonious painting. These colors, what I use here, are not one-off. It's being used somewhere else. Loudoun, you see any comments?
Someone mentioned that it's a little bit above her skill level, but she's going to use all these, she's learning a lot from the concepts and she's going to practice during the week.
Great, great. If you cannot do this part, think of it as a this painting, okay? If you can achieve this and do this building and a road, that's a great learning. Okay, now, while I'm here, I might do something. You must have seen the wires going, electrical wires and all. So I'm just with the flow. And there's no stopping here. You can't do half and then think. So you have to do in one go. What is it? This is adding a story that there are some electrical wires going in the background. This, again, electricity, some electric light. And I have this very handy. I have this handy. And I might use this for this pole. Just for interesting stuff. You can do here while it is wet. It only works while it's wet. This is a pole going on, giving some light. I'm going to try these two cars. I'm taking ultramarine blue. This is the windshield. And remaining, I'm going to just cover it with water. And then I'm taking black and give it a shape. Just a shape to show that it's parked outside. These are the house. It must be some residential lane or something. So you're building a story. When you paint, you're actually building a story. All right, so we've done some piece of this. We've done some piece of this. Let me do some of the cars here. And again, as I said, I'm just going to give an impression with, and you'll see how it starts looking like cars. So I'm taking ultramarine and keeping it very light. So far, I made 4 rectangles. And when I add reflection, a shadow, it'll look like these are the 4 cars. So you see, I'm continuously thinking in terms of shapes. I'm not bogged down. I'm not telling my mind, hey, I have to make a 3-dimensional car. Then it's hard. So get into that practice of seeing things in shapes. And it becomes a little easier. Any questions so far? All right, I'm going to now give some shadow. I'm going to use the same ultramarine and alizarin crimson, but this time a little darker, more value, like thick, 50% color, 50% water. And now I'm going too far. It has to be light. Can't be the same color. So I'm mixing more water, and maybe I'm really wiping it, making it really light. There's some shadows from this side. And now I have to connect this side and this side together. Otherwise, this looks odd. Just connect it. So it started to look like a road. And I will now enhance these cars, give it a little shape so that they look like car. And then add two guys here and complete this piece. And it was starting to look like this. I mean, this was, of course, done in 1.5 hours. And here with all explaining, talking, and drawing and painting, not possible to have everything done. How are we doing? Any questions so far?
Everyone's busy painting, I think, Jyotsna.
Good, very good. Splatter is, again, I find it very useful. I love this technique. I'm going to give a little bit more shape to these houses. I'm taking burnt sienna. Thick paint. And going to give, still wet, so I can't hold it. I'm going to give it 2 windows here. So by adding a little bit dark, it starts to look like 3-dimensional. So again, if you remember that principle, light, medium, and dark, all 3 tonals in one painting, you'll do very good. 2 windows. I'm going to add flag. Just taking orange, and it will be again one stroke and done. And it needs to connect to this, otherwise it will be in the air. Just play with colors, all the same colors, 3 or 4 colors that I've used so far. I'm just using those to give it a little bit more definition. And I'm connecting shapes. I'm going to do these 2 people. And I'm going to leave their top part as white and then might give them a tie or something. So taking dark blue, and another one, another color, otherwise it will be monotonous. And I use this cadmium, this is spiral orange, but you can use cad orange as well. And use this straight from the tube to give faces. And here are our 2 guys. If I bring it closer, just an impression. I might give one striped shirt and another one tie. It's actually fun. You're building a story. So now time to give some definition to these cars. I can take again this orange and do these lights, orange lights. How are we doing so far? Any questions from anyone? You should be really proud that this is not an easy subject. If you can do part of it, you it's successful.
Someone's asking if you can move the camera so they can see the left side of the painting. I can see it perfectly, so I'm not sure. Are you on
Yeah.
a phone, Christy? Maybe. Yeah, maybe that, is that a little bit
Yeah,
better?
small, because I can see myself in other camera. I logged in as a student from my phone, so not sure. Okay, now I'm giving some definition to a color.
There's a button on the right corner that says layout. Sometimes if you press that, you can get a different view.
At time, I also use gouge, and this is a plain white color. You can also use white. Right now, it looks everything is white, so I want to cover a portion, either windshield or a bottom area, anyone. And this is your, whatever you want to do. But one of it should be other color. Now you may see these as cars. Now another interesting perspective line to show this is a road. It's again very smallest brush, and I will do so these are the directional lines, perspective lines. It helps audience to kind of go inside the painting. And okay, I need to do something here. This looks a little empty. Otherwise, I'm kind of okay. Once it dries up, I might do upside down and could do the wash on sky. But for that, this has to dry. Anybody wants to share if you've done? How's your experience? How are you doing? Is it working for you? Finding it hard, or I'm here to answer.
I'd like everyone to know that I am recording this and we'll post it on the library's YouTube channel. So if you want to do it again and, with a little bit more experience, that might be a nice idea. And also too, we have art classes almost every Friday at 4 o'clock on the library's website. So please join us again and you can practice your skills, learn a little bit more.
Yeah,
Any
I mean, you can also
questions?
go to channel and see there are many videos. There are more than 20 videos that I've uploaded, and some are very simple ones. And this is Lorraine and I were talking whether we should be able to do this. It looks tough, but if you see how we are doing triangle, rectangle, further down, these are also shapes going smaller, 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 and not painting anything, adding depth. Here is dark, lighter, lightest.
And someone is asking if the in-person classes will be coming back. We don't have anything scheduled for painting yet, but Jyotsna is doing a series at Gum Spring Library on portrait drawing. And in fact, the next one, do you know offhand what date it is in July, Jyotsna?
It's actually on my website. I just
Yeah, I
updated
can
last
look.
week.
Hold on a
I think it's
second.
15th or 16th.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
I'll have to look.
It is on, uh,
Either 22nd, 23rd, or 15th, 16th.
it's on, oh my goodness.
So Lorraine, if you're on my website, there is the classes. There's in the menu, there
It's
is
on
classes.
July 15th at 7
Okay.
p.m. at Gum Spring Library. And then there's going to be another one on August 5th at 7 o'clock at Gum Spring Library. And in that class, it's going to be fun because you're actually going to be drawing each other. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, she had one a couple weeks ago in June, and it was really well received. So, that's the first part of this, right, is drawing. So it would be
Yeah.
helpful to learn some of those skills as well. And
And it's
we're thinking about the the painting classes in person were really large. We'd get anywhere from like 50 to 100 people. It was a little bit difficult organizing all that and providing all the supplies for that, but we're trying to figure out a way that we can return
how many we have today, Lorraine?
as 45.
45, right? So
Yeah.
it gets a little harder at times. There were 50 plus in person
Yeah, and that's 45,
supplies. Yeah,
but it was probably more because a lot of people paint with other people in their homes.
right.
And I could just
And when
see.
we talk about the portraits, it's kind of these portraits. So this is watercolor, but we'll do it pencil. So what I did last time with gum spring, it
Yeah.
was the same, but you know what I meant when I said value study, dark, middle, and light. So this is white light, this is the darkest, and then this all is middle value.
I like
So
that.
this principle
A lot
goes
of character
every,
on his face. I like that.
sorry?
I like that. He has a lot of character on his face.
Yeah, this is another one. So I'm doing a lot of portraits these days, and same
Beautiful.
principle. So
All right, any other
So,
questions before we leave today? And once again, I typed Jyotsna's email address here in case you have any. It's at Yahoo, right, Jyotsna?
right.
In case you have any questions. And what is your Facebook again?
My Insta handle is Jyotsna_Umesh, but you can go my website has a link to my YouTube channel as well. So you
And
can
that's
subscribe.
just Umesh
Yeah,
Art, right?
yeah, jyotsnaumeshart.com.
Okay, there you go. All right, everybody. Well, thank you
Thanks.
for joining us today. I hope you'll be back next Friday for an art class.
And feel
And
free to share. I mean, we get every time couple of paintings, and it's lovely to see, you
oh, it
know.
really is. We love to see what you've all created. And here's my email address too, if you have any questions for me. All right. Hope to see you all again. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.